All right. Step one. Step one. I'm going to go around to the other side. And then we're going back. Okay. Check real quick. No, actually, no, we don't have to. All right, we got this. Are we bringing it in? Yeah. The fidget toy. Fidget toy is really different that way. Okay. City manager, board chamber, city clerk, human resources. Alright, now guess the city clerk, and let's talk about it. Oh, there we go. Yes, please. Water and then I just need to use it up. You must be here. Fantastic. I appreciate your help.
Oh, sorry. I'm good.
My name is Neil, and this is my partner, Fred. Business partner. place do you need to sit?
Probably right here.
Wherever you're comfortable is fine. You can pull those chairs any way you like.
I've had a bit of issue with Allie in the past couple of days. The box is issue.
The pollen's been pretty out there.
On the car.
So, we're doing a meeting later today at 4. They're doing a agenda. They're talking about their agenda today.
Oh, well, I would love to go. If it's a public meeting, then we will go.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is the meeting today public or private?
It's always public. Okay. Yeah.
So where is it?
Normally, it's right there. Normally, normally the meeting's on Tuesday night, like next Tuesday, we are meeting at 6.
Yep.
It'll be discussed. They're just setting it today. But we're taking them off today to have all of our people that want to interview and get on those committees, they're going to interview them.
Oh,
And then they'll come in here and they'll decide who they want on the committees and then appoint them and be done.
Sounds good.
But then they'll, next meeting they'll.
That's good.
But let me make sure he did not, he's right down the road, but let me make sure he hadn't forgot about us.
Alright, let's finish out our PowerPoint here.
Yeah. Taking tourism. What?
My recommendation is National Mail Campaign. National Direct Mail Campaign.
We should try and get on one of those committees.
Oh, especially as we do this in person, because he is more powerful than anyone else in the city other than the mayor himself. And so if we're on her good side, when you or I am the mayor, we should be working for us. So yes, we want to be on her good side.
Right. That's why that was an caramel thing.
Yes, okay. Increasing tourism.
Yep.
National Direct Mail Campaign to promote treasure hunt. My recommendation for what we call the treasure hunt is Hot Springs National Park Junior Ranger Program.
I like it. I
To
like it.
promote Hot Springs National Park Junior Ranger Program. And we will record this program. My recommendation is point number 1. Disabling sticks.
Okay.
Because there are very few national parks that disabled kids can go to. I didn't know. But how the fuck are you supposed to make Yellowstone ADA friendly?
You don't.
Correct. So, meanwhile, the national park is in the middle of a city. So if the city is ADA friendly, the national park is ADA friendly. For disabled children. We will say, to clarify for his sake, wheelchairs, autistic, or autism, AUTISM. Now, I would like to put ADHD and dyslexia on there, but if you would prefer not to speak about those topics with him, or if you would prefer me to speak about them instead of you, you let me know now.
You can speak of them.
Okay, so I will put dyslexia, because we would need to make, if we were going to make a junior ranger treasure hunt, for people who are dyslexic, it needs to be very, 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 very low on reading. That is necessary to finish.
Correct.
Not obviously, there'll be plenty to read, but they need to be able to finish it without doing a lot of reading.
Correct.
So we won't make it, writing essays about cookies, like, I don't know how to do it in programs. Most of them are not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I need you to go to the bathroom. You need to get some cold water and wash your face.
Okay. The part I don't like.
Pollen does not exist.
Pollen doesn't exist?
In this current simulation of the next 30 minutes, there's nothing to complain about except the bad roads. Okay?
Correct.
Alright. Or you know, when I
Okay.
phone number of Sister Cities International. Oh, I wonder who the sister city is. I'll have to check. I might have to go check. Please take a photo of this for me, my dear. And then take one farther back with all the plaques in it, please. Oh, appreciation of the contribution to the Salt Lake City Olympic poetry lab.
A letter from Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is no place I'd rather be.
No place I'd rather be than the town of Valentine. Sure. Sure. I don't believe you. Sure, Bill, sure.
The White House, Washington, May 19th, 1995. Greetings. No place I'd rather be Saturday than to gather to celebrate the placing of my old home at 1011 Park Avenue on the National Register of Historic Places.
There's no place I'd rather be, but I can't be there.
So many people work so hard to make this something happen. Some of my fondest memories are of this house. I'll always remember the random incident, playing hour after hour in the backyard, and I'll never forget my mother working on her road. Bushes in her spare time. It's wonderful. This place, which I'll always call home, is so much. A part of who I am. I wish that I could be with you. Again, I do hope this is a wonderful occasion. And send my very best wishes.
I wish I could be there, but I can't.
Ben Sexton.
Ben,
What a jerk.
Ben Sexton?
Well, it couldn't read his handwriting because he's, a president, so he doesn't have to write like other people.
Correct.
Now, this will be for if we need to write anything down. I like how, also, that was so important to them that they put it on the wall. Which is very funny to me.
Why?
A letter that he couldn't come to the opening of his own house. Shows you how much Bill Clinton cares about this town.
Uh-huh.
Please make sure to get a photo of that close up as well.
On what?
That letter.
I did? That's the first thing I did. I love lens. Lens is my favorite thing.
It is fantastic.
It is my saving grace. The
Absolutely.
inventor of lens is a saint.
He certainly.
Google, Microsoft, all these companies, evil. Sometimes they do saint-worthy things.
Well, even a monkey that's on a typewriter sometimes does the right thing.
It's almost like the Empire had the right idea all along.
Well,
Well,
my dear. The info.
my manual dexterity is not on point.
Apparently not.
Okay, he is on his way. He was a little delayed.
Not
Sweet.
a problem.
He is on his way. Apologize for that.
Not a problem.
Not a problem at all.
I'm gonna press something in here. Oh, no, it's gonna be a little different.
Sure.
We've got 2 on Zoom. And,
2 on Zoom?
yes.
Oh.
They have to come into executive session where nobody else, it's just them, and it's private.
Oh,
So, they're gonna be on Zoom out there, but they're gonna Zoom in here, so
interesting.
a little challenge today, but hey, we're gonna be,
You know what?
we're gonna be fine.
You got this.
I got it.
You got this.
You got this.
This coffee's awesome, by the way.
Oh, good. Caramel?
Yeah.
They said it is. I don't drink. I'm not a coffee drinker, so.
He's actually thinking about running for town council, so if you do run for town council, I'm sure he'll have lots of the coffee.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Let's see.
I wouldn't be able to function without coffee.
Oh, man.
It's just the one that says PSD.
So this is for the meeting at 4, I assume?
It is.
Since it's public, we'll stick around for the meeting. That sounds like fun. I enjoy things that other people do not.
It's not bad.
Reading town council minutes? That sounds great!
Participate. Hanging out in the town council, seeing what's going on.
Oh, if you're going to be on the town council, it's going to be important for you to know exactly how it works.
Exactly.
And then he wants the CEM.
I have a question. Is there a vocational school in town? Or is that one closed?
Well, I know there was one in the old Army Navy hospital, but I don't know if there is one now.
Yeah.
And then
It is out of the column.
we just have the brand Australian Memorial.
How big a program is it?
I think it's pretty big.
Oh,
National Park has 2,000 to 3,000 students, so it's like kind of a mid-sized college.
okay. The town I grew up in was predominantly a vocational town. I grew up in Westbrook, Maine.
Oh, yeah? Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I'm having problems.
Not a problem at all.
So I'm a little bit traveled.
A little bit.
Little bit.
What, 1,000 miles to get here?
Hey. I need to sound like myself. This thing tried to reboot. I was gonna snooze it.
It's like 30,000 miles, but it's fine. Mine like you.
I was trying to
Fair enough.
snooze it for like 2 hours.
Depends on how you measure it.
And then I
As the
was
crow flies, or as the dog walks.
reboot.
I'm still trying to figure out how we managed 30,000 miles.
Since we didn't have time to cut them out, we'll just give them a whole sheet. Why not?
I mean, novelty in business cards.
Who cares? Also give them one of your resumes.
Now it does.
That's one.
Good boy.
So,
Next one.
I should just turn it on. I'll just try it. Okay, fine. Well, it's gone now. Okay, maybe it's down there. Okay, I'll do it.
So with
Okay,
that,
fine.
get in there. I'm going to for the new meeting and
And of course, I got reading glasses on, but this doesn't help me with.
Your hands are warm. And we shake his hand. Because the handshake is your first impression.
I don't know that the first impression.
Oh, right. I agree.
And of course, you and he can let us know if we have less than 30 minutes. That's no problem. We just need to know. I also like that they have access to Cisco WebEx meetings, but they're using Zoom instead just because it's easier. It's fun. Oh yeah, it's also much less secure, but you know, it's a public meeting and security is not super important.
Why can't I do that?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking to shut restart.
Oh.
Oh, here we go. It said it doesn't help to have readers on when you need. Maybe I didn't nail it off.
Maybe not.
Make things hard.
I know that feeling. He keeps me grounded because he's the one that's on the ground. I'm usually off in the clouds somewhere.
Yeah.
You always need someone, don't you? Yeah. Here we go.
We get about 10 times more done when we do it together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Our parents still think we're the strangest things that they've ever seen.
Well, we are, so correct.
And that's saying something.
Considering my family and your family, correct. Yes, absolutely.
very good. And my brother's out there, but not running for president out there.
Well, you've had senators from your family. Now you'll have a president from your family.
Senators, Arctic explorers, paleontologists, archaeologists, a couple radio hosts,
Governors, multiple.
I think the funniest one was the radio host.
We'll have to see if we can find some of their old recordings. That'd be interesting.
He recorded from Acadia.
Oh, that's awesome.
Up on top of the mountain. I guess he was.
That's awesome.
I guess he was a character.
I guess so. For you to get permission to record from the top of Acadia, you would have to be a character. What? Well, we should continue his tradition, and you should record from the top of Acadia. That'd be awesome. Coming to you live from one of our nation's beautiful national parks, Acadia National Park in beautiful, beautiful Maine, the vacation land state, or I prefer
the way life should be.
The way life should be,
which is a much better motto.
Mm-hmm. I have a quick question for you, Sheila.
Sure.
Does Mayor, excuse me, does Mayor McCabe have any kids?
He does. He has I know he has a son and a daughter. I think he just has two.
Do you know roughly how old they are? Always good to talk to somebody about their kids.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, I do not know.
That's fine.
They're
The adults, they somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. They're adults. They're
I'm
probably
struggling.
in the probably in their 30s. I would say.
Oh,
So when we talk about the
Mid
idea,
30s to, you know, because he's no,
he's probably what, 60s, 70s?
yeah, late 60s. I would guess.
I figured just from
He's
looking
in
at
his 70s,
pictures.
yeah. But
So when we talk about the idea we have for the national park, we'll say like, well, imagine when your kids were young.
exactly.
well, he should be here any minute. He'll pull up right here in a red car, I think.
Okay.
Unless he changed on me.
Red cow.
Red cat. Sounds like he's a man after your own heart. I bet it'll be something like a Porsche or a Lexus or something. Again, president of the hospital. This man gets paid very well. Not by this town, but by the hospital.
Well.
And you know, another thing that's important to do when you're meeting with someone, such as when you start a meeting as consultant, you start with talking about them. Okay? So, for example, I may ask a question like, so talk about why you decided to run for mayor. Because I would like to run for mayor someday.
Yes.
So then I'm talking to him as an equal. Right? Okay. All about how you play the game.
Taking the world over. One town at a time. One heart at a time.
For my sanity's sake, please do not take the chair.
Okay.
Please do not take the chair. Thank you. Act as if the rules not already know.
They don't know it yet.
Okay. All rolling down. Alright. Do this. It's wrong size for me. But sitting down, it doesn't matter.
This jacket's more your size.
Okay. Also, this is more your style as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously I can take them out. But if you need
So, we're going to introduce ourselves.
what
I'm going to give him a copy of your card, a copy of my card, and a copy of your resume. And we're also going to give him a second copy for his records.
Okay.
And that way his office will need our business card or resume or whatever to have it on file. In addition, we're going to explain our names very quickly so that he knows exactly what to call us. And that is one of the biggest types of miscommunication in business is, oh, what do I call you? How do I call you? Whatever. Just get it out of the way to begin.
Okay. Let's do it. We got this. We got this. Easy.
Continue to, in your mind, while we're talking to him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Continue to listen to God. Okay? Continue to that country. I need to get your attention. I'll tap your knee like this. Okay? See how I don't have to look at you to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there at my own National Registry House inauguration.
He's such a jerk. Oh my god.
I couldn't be there.
I'm so sorry I couldn't be there. You know, I couldn't spare 3 hours in my private jet.
That's what a private jet's for.
Yeah, so you can go to things like an opening of your National Historic House in 3 hours
Uh-huh.
instead of taking the entire day. That's what it's for. Will you please not scratch things with your nails when I do not have my headphones on?
Okay.
I understand that you cannot hear it. I can hear every single sound. It sounds to me like you are punching me in the face. So, please don't.
Okay.
You have to see fucking
Bill Clinton.
Bill Nye the president, Bill Clinton the president guy. I cannot wait to contact Bill Nye the Science Guy's agent and say, would you like an office in the White House? You don't even have to use it. I just want to put your name and face all over the office, Mr. Nye. And he would say, that sounds great. And whenever I have some time, I'll come and say hi to the kids. Yes, thank you. And then, my dear, let's assume that he can make it about once a month, okay? Once a month, we will have Bill Nye as a guest on our show.
Yes.
Inspired by him, of course. Because obviously I was inspired by Bill Nye the Science Guy. There is nothing I want more in the world to be the next Bill Nye the Science Guy, or the next Miss Frizzle.
So we get Bill Nye. We get Bob Vila. Because Bob Vila,
Who is that?
this old house.
Oh, of course, got it. Oh yeah, all the people from PBS. You better bet the PBS offices will have a district office at the White House, which we will officially rename. While you and I are living there, it shall be officially renamed to Science House.
Correct.
Or something like that.
Looks like our guy.
I believe that's it.
I don't see a red car.
Yep, that's it. Alright. Go time.
Showtime.
Clear throat. 3:19 is the meeting with the town council at 4, which means that we will need to be in about 50 minutes instead of 30. Okay?
Okay. We got this.
We got this.
Man, I got 20 minutes to save the world. Got it.
Easy. I've done more with 5. And yes, I'm not kidding.
I believe it.
Keep in mind that John Burgess completely changed the course of my life in 5 minutes.
Uh-huh. Easy.
4 times that amount of time. Not a problem.
When the zombie apocalypse breaks out. I want only the people with ADHD on my team.
For the first 5 minutes or so, let me do the talking. Okay?
Yep.
And then, if you want to go, tap me.
Got it.
Try it. Yep. And then I will either say go ahead, or I will say not right now. Okay? Go ahead, not right now. Okay? Got it? Introduce yourself, obviously. But then, after that, I need you to just let me do my thing for about 5 minutes. Okay? Okay? Take a drink of water. To clear your throat, please. Thank you.
Where'd he go?
To the restroom, my dear.
Yes.
Use the restroom. Not a problem.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, I guess it is someone else with the same body type. Oh,
It's Alexis.
I told you. Also looks kinda pissed.
No, it's fine. This will be fun. Oh,
Part of the job is to charm them. Okay, ready? Here we go. Go ahead.
Hello.
hello. How are you doing, boss?
My sincere apologies for the delay.
You're fine.
All right.
It's wonderful to meet you, Mr. McKay. My name is Neil. This is my partner, Trey.
Yeah. How are you?
Welcome to Hot Springs City Hall.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
My family is from here. I was born in Little Rock. My family
All right.
just up the road at Cutter Morning Star. My family has lived there for several generations.
Very nice.
So, just spelling of our names, and I figured you might want a business card.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So how can I help you?
Well, first, I just had a quick question for you,
Mm-hmm.
which I would like to run for mayor someday.
Uh-huh.
And so I wanted to know what inspired you to run for mayor.
Oh, my undergraduate degrees in political science. I've always been interested in politics, and
Sure.
when I came here and I was moved to town in '85, I was 32 years old and just got involved,
Sure.
as a city director, and then just kind of it was in and out depending on what my kids were up to, and decided to run for mayor and lost the initial time and
That's usually how it goes.
won a couple subsequent times, so that happened. So I was out of it for a while, and the then current mayor resigned, not quite halfway into her second term, and the city board appointed me to finish that unexpired term, and then won, then ran again in November, won that. So they're 4-year terms, so yeah, when you get to my age, you kind of add up how many more 4-year terms you have.
Right.
Ask yourself, is this what I really want to do?
Right.
Given the limited number of blocks I have. So,
Yeah.
Well,
when you're younger, you get a whole bunch of blocks, but you'll find that they go away pretty fast. So.
I believe it. Yeah, I mean, you could spend a summer in Cancun, or you could spend a summer, being the mayor.
Exactly.
Well, we just wanted to provide to you a very quick proposal.
Okay.
We don't want to take up too much of your time. I understand that you have a meeting at 4.
Yeah.
So I understand that maybe 15, 20 minutes is all you got?
Yeah, I mean, I my apologies, because I'm late, and so directors will start coming in here in about 15 minutes, so.
Well, we'll do it in about 15 minutes. And if there's anything else we need to do, we can always schedule another meeting.
Yeah.
Or, take it from there. So, as someone who is from here and has lived here most of their life, I see it's hard to see the problems when it's just all that you know. And so, coming back, we just moved back. I've been living in some other places like Indianapolis and Pennsylvania for my job. I was a consultant for a company called Global Resources, which is the largest small business consulting firm. Only got paid $350 an hour, so I must be terrible at my job. But coming back and living here, especially after an accident, so I was involved in a very serious accident that put me in a chair. So, just part of traveling all the time. Unfortunately, sometimes, my driver apparently had diabetes, blacked out on the road. I'm sure you, as the director of the hospital, know all about that kind of thing. But coming back and being in a chair, I started to see the city in a little bit of a different way. And something, for example, I wanted to show you a picture we just took today. There's a spot on Central Avenue, right next to the subway, that, from what I can tell, looks like a place in the street where someone like myself in a chair or someone in a powered wheelchair could, their wheel could get stuck in a pothole. And if that happened, especially if they were in a powered wheelchair, they could be dumped out onto the street. It would be very unfortunate. So, we wanted to offer you a proposal, which would be something that I think could help the city, at least potentially. And also, I've learned it's best for me to just say up front, I'm autistic, so if I come across like a weird robot person, that's why. So here's my proposal. The first one is increasing tourism. Because, being a national park, the more people come and visit the national park, the more money the town would get, right? So I have a suggestion for a way to greatly increase tourism to the town. First would be to do a direct mail campaign to various places in the country, which would advertise a Hot Springs National Park Junior Ranger program. As someone who's visited many national parks, I've had many wonderful experiences doing these types of programs, and so I wanted to offer you my services, if possible, to design this program. And
this national park does have a junior ranger, at least a booklet.
And you could call it the Hot Springs Treasure Hunt, or you could call it whatever you want. It's the name is just a suggestion. My suggestion is make it specifically for people in wheelchairs, people who have autism, dyslexia, something that's important to me. My aunt, who lives, again, just up the road by Cutter Morning Star, she has fetal alcohol syndrome. So she operates on about a 12-year-old level. And so my thought is something like this that could be marketed to families with kids, especially families with kids who have these kinds of conditions, would be a way to bring in a lot of tourism to the town. Secondarily, I am in the process of setting up a large charitable foundation called Donate by Mail. And for this foundation, we're going to need a lot of employees. And going around the town, I've noticed that most of the businesses are hiring. And talking to some of the business owners in person, they're saying, I have so much trouble finding employees. And again, director of the hospital, I'm sure you understand that very well.
Oh yeah, there's unemployment in Hot Springs is very, very low, and everybody's looking for more work.
Right. So my suggestion is, I would like to, with the permission of the city board and all this, come up with a proposal to bring in 10,000 jobs for disabled veterans.
of jobs.
Absolutely. Now, I think that many of these people would be working for my charity, but considering that the charity is, we accept donations by the mail, many of them would be working for the Postal Service, the National Park Service, that kind of thing. But, you know, there's no point in even trying to set up the next Goodwill, the next Make-A-Wish Foundation. That's what we're trying to do. You know, we're trying to make the next Make-A-Wish Foundation. And, you know, unfortunately, I can't base it in Hot Springs if I don't have 10,000 people to hire. Those types of organizations need a lot of people. That's why Bentonville is so big, and places like Little Rock are less rich than Bentonville, ironically enough. Now, something that I thought might catch your attention is that I figure bringing in 10,000 disabled vets would actually benefit the hospital quite a lot. Because, by my estimation, around $50,000 in medical care would be needed per veteran per year, which would be approximately $500 million a year.
Yeah, I don't know what the care needs are. Obviously, the Veterans Hospital in Little Rock and some of those rules on accessing freestanding hospitals are, I mean, they try to steer them to their own hospitals.
Right.
I know there's always been a battle in Washington. They
Okay.
can't handle it. If the veteran hospitals can't handle it, they need to get to the community hospital that can. So,
Right.
so I'm not sure where that stands today, but I do understand that they have ongoing care needs.
Absolutely. And my thought is some of the biggest issues that I see in the city right now are the sidewalks, just like the picture we just showed you. Unfortunately, I wanted to let you know of something that happened this week, which is 4 times I was nearly killed due to the poor nature of the sidewalks in the town. Here's what happened. 2 times, while we were walking down the street, he was pushing the chair. I was probably off in my own little world, as I often am, and we ran into a step, or a crack in the sidewalk that was about this high. 2 separate times. And both of these times, I nearly fell out of the front of the wheelchair and broke both my knees. So, that probably would not have killed me. But, 2 other times, we were going down the street, maybe we stopped to press the button to cross the street, something like that, and the wheelchair kept rolling, and I did not notice that he had let go of it. And one of those times, it was an 8-inch curb into traffic. So I'm very lucky to be able to have this conversation with you today, because that did not happen. But, you know, I was able to stop the wheelchair in time, but I was about this close from toppling into traffic. And in my opinion, it's because these streets have not been very well maintained. So,
What was that? What are those 2 locations that you're referring to? The one you just did and the one with the rise and the buckled concrete, I guess.
Absolutely. I will have to report that to you via an email or something like that. I'm sure I have it written down, but I don't know it off the top of my head. I know one of them was the bridge that goes across right next to the other city building. There's like a bridge across the like a skywalk, essentially.
Oh, underneath what used to be Regions Bank.
Yeah, it was right underneath it. Is one of them. And then the second thing that I wanted to mention to you is that we have the Medical Arts Building in town, right across from the Arlington. And it, from what I understand, is on the National Registry, right?
Sure it is, yeah.
So I was thinking that a possibility would be to refurbish the building with both federal money and money from my foundation. I'd be more than happy to come up with a deal. We're prepared to put in, we were thinking something like $50 million over the course of the next 10 years or so, to be able to do things like refurbish buildings, build up the infrastructure of the town, so that we can base our charity here. So, these are some...
Yeah, that's privately owned.
Okay.
And they've they've gutted the building, removed all the non-support bearing walls, and
Yeah.
so they were gonna make it into a hotel,
Sure.
but they haven't moved past the point of gutting it. You know?
Right.
So they have some other projects they said had to get completed first. But,
Sure. Right.
you know, I don't know where they're at. I know financing is always an issue.
Well, let's see. It's 3:35, so I know you have to go in around 5 or 10 minutes. So, what I wanted to ask you is, so far, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's very ambitious. You know, it's obviously, 10,000 new workers in town. That'd be a huge number to absorb. Normally, you're bringing in a manufacturing facility or something like that up in Osceola area that have a new steel mill that came out of Pittsburgh, and they're I don't know how many jobs that is, but all
Couple
communities-
thousand, probably, yeah.
all communities are looking for more jobs.
Absolutely.
Workforce readiness is a huge thing, you know, to the degree that even over and above the, healthcare needs, a lot of veterans are still interested in working and want to have an opportunity. So,
Right.
Skill sets are very, very important.
Sure.
And, we have a program we're developing through the chamber and the area schools on just making sure that the kids that are graduating from high school who aren't necessarily college bound know what's available and what the skills requirements are, so they can go out and, work with the employer to develop that skill set and be employable and stay in town. Not, we don't need any out migration of our current citizens.
Absolutely.
If they don't want to work here, why would somebody move here? So.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's all great. The thing with the streets and the sidewalks, we that's going to be a constant review because as those infrastructures crack. A few years ago, we brought an outside concern in to address all those trip hazards.
Sure.
And they were shaved down to where they were more of a rampish than a vertical wall.
Right.
Which your wheelchair would get caught on.
Sure.
And the areas that around that manhole, I've got the feeling that that's something that we certainly can address that and kind of pay special attention to those areas. Central Avenue is just horrible. That's a state highway. We've been on the state about that. And, there's certain areas that I'm a bike rider. I haven't ridden in a while, but I know where all the cracks and crevices are, and they're there. And if you fill it with asphalt, roll over it with a roller, the next good rain or freeze, it's back out.
Right.
And, so it's one of those constant things. So, but no, we have had funds allocated to those two items there. I spent a lot of time as a rehab hospital administrator.
Absolutely.
And so, ambulation, mobility, ability to access facilities is real important.
Absolutely. Well, and my hope is not to just show you a problem, but also be able to be part of the solution.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because, again, we'd be more than happy to come up with some type of proposal. It's like, we'd be happy to invest, 10 million in this, 10 million in this, and, whatever we need to be able to set up businesses.
Yeah.
Or business charity here. Because, as the roads are currently, I can barely get around by myself in a wheelchair. So, I can't bring in 10,000 people in wheelchairs if the roads are the way they are. But, if we can come up with some type of plan of, this will build housing here, we'll make sure it has connection to the city, make sure it has connection to hospitals, that kind of thing. He's a real estate developer, so he knows a lot more about that than I do. But those are some of the suggestions that I want to bring to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming by and sharing all this. Let's stay in contact.
what's the best way to contact you, my friend?
Probably email.
Okay. If you just write it down for me, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then you've got my email there on my card.
Pardon me, my allergies are a little bit nuts.
Oh yeah, well, it's that time.
Oh yeah. Oof.
And then something that I wanted to suggest as we conclude our meeting, I wanted to, if it's okay with you, come up with an idea to create something called Hot Springs Accessibility Commission, which my suggestion would be if we could work with the city board, for example, and then I would be happy to go into businesses and let them know, like, hey, this is not in accordance with the ADA. You know, there's a pawn shop directly across the street from Oaklawn. I can't even get into it without his help because they have a ramp that's like this. That's not an ADA ramp. It's a 45-degree ramp.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and there's not really any excuse for that. I just see people taking the shortcut and saying, you know, in order to meet the ADA, you gotta make up a number, 15 linear feet, and we don't have it.
It's 15 linear feet, and it's a degree of about 1 or 2 for every 15.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Something like that.
So,
I've worked in the accessibility field. I've built elevators, stair lifts, all ramps.
So this is my suggestion, and obviously it's not a
Should the board approve the transfer as well as storage building, maintaining all again, if this event were approved, it would eliminate much of the maintenance cost of the buildings, would benefit the state and constitute for the place the person. There's also an additional
Yeah, if we offer a bunch of local jobs, and, jobs in charity for gifted children. Yeah, like, so now our next step is to go talk to the city manager and the Arkansas School of Math and Science, because we can broker a deal between all of them.
Hi, familiar, seeing, Cranford as, that board contracting CDA as Cranford. Is this, something new or is it something different?
It's always been boards, but we're just familiar with Cranford. They do business at several different companies, and Cranford is one of those businesses. One of the businesses. We always have Cranford.
Right, okay, thank you.
And, is there any way to add Clay Street and, streets surrounding Clay Street onto the, streets to be paved this year?
I'll take that one. Director Beard, the board has already approved the paving list. It doesn't mean it can't be amended. Like staff, the board would like staff to bring back an amendment to add or change any streets on that, we can do so. But, you've already approved the paving list for 2023, and that's basically what we got out for these others. Do we have any details, around this house? No, what it is it's a contract. But we have the option of approving it for 4 more years. We had that option this past year, but we had we thought we were just going to re-up the contract, but it had a 3% escalation clause in there that we could not increase the price by more than 3%. Cranford was unwilling to accept the 3% escalation, so they denied re-up. So we had to put it out for bid. Contract this is about 4.5% more than the previous clause. So it wasn't that much more over 3, but they just weren't willing to hit the 3%. Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you. Moving on to new business. Next we have, you're right, the first order of new business for the evening. It's resolution R2372. Resolution declaring a certain structure located at 201 Detroit Street a nuisance and condemning the same pursuant to Title 17 of the Hot Springs Code, and our development director.
Going to be cleaned for the city.
The city of Hot Springs proposes condemnation for the purpose of demolishing and clearing a single-family vacant structure at 201 Detroit Street. Now, the structure was damaged by a fire in September of last year. At that time, the structure was inspected and deemed unsafe for habitation because of the extensive structural damage. It is a policy that in the event of a fire and in cases where the damaged structure is not at risk of collapse or posing other immediate risks, to allow the property owners time to work with their insurance carriers before contacting them and requiring that action be taken. After having allowed the owners of 201 Detroit adequate time, we contacted the owner, at which point we requested that the city assist with the removal of the structure. The owner then signed a demolition waiver on January 17, 2023. A limited title search determined that there were no other interested parties, and now, with the condition of the structure, we recommend removing that structure.
Any questions for Kathy on this item? Thank you. Next, we have resolution R2373, resolution declaring a certain structure located at 104 Otsego Street a nuisance that condemns the same pursuant to Title 17 of the Hot Springs Code. Again,
This is a request to demolish and clear a vacant single-family residential structure as well. This structure was damaged by fire in February of this year. At that time, the structure was inspected and deemed unsafe for habitation because of extensive structural damage. Because the damaged structure was not at risk of collapse or posing an other immediate risk, time was allowed for the property owners to work with their insurance carriers before contacting them and requiring action to be taken. However, in the case of 104 Otsego, the owner immediately contacted the Planning and Development Department requesting that the city assist with removal of the structure. The property is owned by 5 individuals, and all 5 separate owners have signed a demolition waiver, as of February 15th. Following a limited title search, it was determined that there were no other interested parties, and now, given the condition of the structure, we recommend removing that structure.
You said the final was in February of this year?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have consider resolution R 2374, a resolution approving the Community Development Advisory Committee prioritized fiscal year 2023 applications to serve as the basis for fiscal year 2023 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Annual Action Plan. Begin with Sarah.
Thank you. City of Hot Springs is an entitlement grantee of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Community Development Block Grant Program. Authorization of those funds is contingent upon submission and acceptance of an annual action plan detailing how funds will be spent. Annual action plans are due no later than 60 days following an announcement of fiscal year CDBG allocation. And failure to submit an annual action plan on time automatically forfeits funds allocated during that fiscal year. Well, we're used to getting an announcement of our allocation much later in the year, but surprise, surprise, we got our allocation announcement on February 28th, and so now we are on a proceeding track to get all of this done so that we meet the high requirements for approval of that annual action plan. This is a request to accept the Community Development Advisory Committee's recommended priority order for funding of the projects, there were 9, that came forward during the application period, which began December 8th and ended January 22nd. It's widely advertised, and the applications represent 3 nonprofits, 2 neighborhood organizations, the city engineering department, and the city planning and development department, who is responsible for administering the program. The applications have been available for public review and comment on the city's website, as well as in the planning and development office. And the Community Development Advisory Committee advertised and held a public hearing to hear from applicants and from the community about these applications. That meeting was held on March 2nd. And this list of priority projects was unanimously recommended by our 5 Community Development Advisory Commission members. And they are asking that you accept this recommendation. There are, as always, more requests for funds than there are funds available. It appears that of the 9 projects, 530 should be fully funded. And CDAC is recommending that these projects be funded in prioritized order up to the amount that is available. And we will, in your packet, have a full copy of each of the applications, along with the evaluation sheet that was prepared for the Community Development Advisory Committee.
Any questions of Kathy? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the first ordinance of the evening, is ordinance 2308, ordinance accepting utility alley again, where the city, utility alley, and get our public works direction, it's speed traffic, so, yeah, Ron?
You know, this section of property runs between two residences, backs up onto Dino and runs down to a creek. Currently, all the water from that community converges on this spot, and it's almost like a river when they come down with the hard rain. The water backs up on the pavement, causing damage to it. Our proposal is to adopt it to the island and build a drainage channel that deviates the water from the roadway and surrounding the drainage.
Who owns the property now?
It was platted as a roadway, it's been abandoned. We already had a sewer, sanitary sewer system that runs down through there. And it's currently, kind of going up the grass and doing
So a platted as a roadway, does that mean
never built.
a roadway that was never built, that was going to be a subdivision roadway or city? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your last item of the evening is ordinance O 2309, an ordinance authorizing eminent domain condemnation proceedings, the acquisition of personal property, out of 51313, located off Green Street, owned by Dennis County, Maryland, and God, and for other purposes. Again, in engineering, or Joe Stadler, with Joe.
Good afternoon. Staff is requesting board approval to proceed as eminent domain with utility easement across RPID 513 Spring Bridge Improvement Project. The intended project is to increase the sewer capacity to eliminate sanitary sewer overflow. The project is part of the effort to comply with the CAO for AEQ. The design includes approximately 9,500 feet of 15-inch to approximately 10 manholes. The design route crosses the vacant property located at 1874 Spring Street. Staff has been unable to contact the property owner and sent certified mail condemnation offer letters and mail undeliverable. A 20-foot wide permanent easement is required for installation of main with gravity sewer. The appraised value is $1,078 and provided via the 2020 voice protocol.
Some images, Mark District on this project included in the package.
Additional questions?
So it's just a piece of land in
Thank
the
you,
middle of
Mayor.
nowhere.
What, does this go through the same
Someone owns it.
process
They tried to contact them
our
and
condemnations
they weren't able
in
to
trying to,
with certified mail.
get
So
the information, submitted
I do like
to,
trying to contact them.
heirs or owners?
it's easy to contact us. It's hard to pin us down. That's the whole plan.
Uh-huh.
And the
Soon,
city
our
attorney has
address will be
reviewed all of the.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, the most famous address in the world. It'll be easy to
I have
contact
a
us,
question.
but hard to pin us down.
What did you do to contact the owner? Did you send a return receipt?
We did send 2 certified letters, and we returned both of them back to the green slips, as well as we got all the neighbors.
And that's from the people, the address is 1874 Spring Street? Thank you very much.
Mayor, just to clarify, Mr. Garcia's question about the same process. You say that the difference here, Mr. Garcia, is no attorney at Lyman is employed to reach out to individuals as we are not taking it to the court. It's not a condemnation, demolition of property. If what you were doing is authorized and filing of a civil lawsuit for eminent domain, which consistent with just consideration is in the court makes that. in, we use the appraisal, that we have, and allow all the homeowners, property, and we can apply that. If there is a dispute over the amount, then the court determines that.
And then taking the property, do they get something, or are you just taking the property?
They get the value of the appraisal.
Which is $1,078, you said?
In this market, if the contestant, then the court. So we will use our certified appraisal, and the individual who conducted it as our witness.
So the property is going to get taken and there's nothing they can do about it?
If it's needed for a public purpose, such as, a 9,000 foot, gravity fed sewer line, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then when property is needed for a public purpose, then it can be taken?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I got it. Thank you.
Additional questions? Agenda meeting may have been longer than reported. Not sure. Okay. Well, this concludes the action item that will be formally addressed next Tuesday evening, April 4th, right here at City Hall, 6 p.m. So we're gonna adjourn, but we'll be, initiating a special meeting of the board of directors here to review applicants for boards and commissions, and, we can switch over. Thank you.
Eminent domain, eminent domain, eminent domain. Have you not read the Constitution? That's where the term eminent domain comes from. It's in the Constitution. Are you here for one of the committees? Which one? Oh, that's awesome. And you? I am here as a citizen interested in running for mayor. There, let me give you my card. After all, Mayor McCabe has not been challenged in some of the recent elections, so I would like to challenge you in the next one. So, hopefully you'll be working for me in the future. There you go. Thank you. Of course. That's me. Why do you want to be on the animal control board?
Actually, I'm on it now. I'm trying to get back on it. We have, I just want to fill the vacancy.
Got it.
And I'm from Georgia.
Oh. That's what my grandparents did.
One of the first things that I heard here was how bad animals were.
Terrible. Oh my gosh.
That bothered me because I have an animal. a parrot.
A parrot? That's
And,
awesome.
You know, I was concerned because my neighbors were not following the law. And, long story short, with taking freedom of court.
Oh, wow.
And, one, thank goodness, but what the things that well, most of my cases with them have been okay, but there's been one that just didn't pan out right. And I thought, okay, and I tried to talk to animal control, and I was receiving some of the same things that I kept hearing about. And I'm going, this isn't right. And my grandfather used to say, there's a snake in the woodpile somewhere.
Exactly.
And I thought, oh, I'm going to see if I can find it. Nosy me, you know,
Exactly.
me.
Of course.
And I told my friends, and they said, oh no, you don't need to be doing that. Anyhow, long story short,
Generally speaking, when someone says don't do something, you know it's a good idea to do it.
you know, are you
My family lives at like Cutter.
And so I had talked to them and found out that basically they wouldn't tell me anything, and it was very shrouded in secret, you know, something wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I said, let me get on this control board and see what's up, and I'll see what. But we were told basically, leave them alone, don't talk to them. You know, it's not something that we're going to discuss with you or anything. And then I read the instructions on whatever, and all the other boards, you know, participate. And we were told not to. We were not to ask questions or anything. I said, something's wrong here.
That's wild.
So I proceeded to just get really more bold and got on the committee and checked it out, and no, you couldn't come. We don't know what you don't have anything to do with this committee at all. You know, you can't have anything to do with the office. What? So it was. I'm going to see what I can do anyway.
Yeah.
And I went around the elbow to get to the nose.
Oh, yeah.
And managed to get. We made some changes.
That's great.
And I'd like to stay on and see how those work out. So
that's great. I'm very glad to
I know
hear it.
other people probably need to be involved, but
Sure.
I'm going to be selfish and ask for it again. I think they're
Absolutely.
starting again. Looks like they're starting.
Wonderful to meet you too. Would I be able to get your name?
A-N-N.
A-N-N.
Kendrick, K-E-N-D-R-C-K.
K-E-N-D-R-C-K.
Good luck.
Greatly appreciate it.
Present.
Director Marshall Smith. Here. Director Dudley Webb.
Here.
Director Karen Garcia.
Here.
Director Steve Krusky. Mayor Pat Kay.
Here.
Quorum is present in the chambers.
Thank you. Have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Rob Smith, seconded by Director Webb. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. It is approved. We basically have one item to conduct, so we have, we're conducting several times. And then you applicants for a number of boards and commissions here in the city of Twin. Right along the river, you can see the text message, and you can see one of the items up. So, there's some conflicting comments on
My name is Ann Hare. I now live at 134 Apple Blossom Place, just in Forest Hills. Dudley, I don't know you, but you did come to my house when I lived in the Missouri district and we talked for a while. Mary Payne invited me, as I said in my application, to come to a meeting several years ago. And I think it was with heads of the departments. And the man who's in charge of the water department was talking about the fact that the city has it's almost nasty when water dispersed. And if we didn't have any rain, or if we had more demand, we were going to be in trouble. Well, I moved here 34 years ago from Colorado Springs, and I was in real estate there, and we were already talking about not having enough water out there. So I got really interested in this, and I just tried to follow it as I could. I noticed it was an issue in the last election, and I supported it as I could in the newspaper. But we moved here so they could start Tech. And we feel like the city's been good to us, and I know that water is really important, and so I've just been interested in this. I don't have any other reason for being on the group except that it's something I think is important, and I'd like to be a part of figuring out how to do it well.
Any questions? Very nice. Thank you.
Certainly.
Just make it positions available.
Give that a couple. Yeah. Put it next to you if necessary. Oh, okay. Because you need to be able to pick it back up later.
Next applicant is for Casey. Forward, you take your name and address.
Yes, sir. Derek Patacey, 621 3rd Street, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Thank you, Mayor McCabe and members of the board for the opportunity to share what I believe I will be a valuable access to the Waterworks Advisory Committee. I've lived in Hot Springs for 31 years. I've had the privilege of being the senior pastor at Gospel Light Baptist Church for 30 years. Along with that, kind of under the umbrella of my leadership, I've had the privilege of also being the president of Champion Christian College, own a couple of small businesses in town. So leadership is something that God's given me and gifted me with, and I enjoy leading over 100 employees in those organizations. And in addition to some of the things that I think would maybe be about an asset to the Water Commission, would be that to the committee, would be that our college got accredited. When it got accredited a few years ago, it involved a lot of effort to inform policy, input, recommendations to boards, and people that need the right information to make really important decisions. And in doing so, we achieved accreditation, which was a great accomplishment. And I believe that since one of the main priorities of this committee is to provide valuable input in those areas, policies, recommendations, and so forth, that my experience in that leadership role in the college and church, writing policies and opinions would be an asset. In 2022, I had the opportunity to run for mayor. Came short, Mayor McCabe won the election, but I did receive 5,000 votes, and I enjoyed the process. And I wanted to just clarify my campaign just a little bit, just to be helpful to those of you making this decision. I did run out of concern for water and sewer rates and water rates and other water issues. I ran on a platform what people told me they were concerned about, and that was one of the main issues that people were concerned about. There were others, but water was one of the main issues. And I realized that water rates are the way that water systems are maintained, repaired, and improved. I realized that water is essential, very essential for economic development and quality of life. And oftentimes, that requires debt, and that debt needs to be serviced, and it's serviced through water rates. And so my campaign was less about the difficulty sometimes in having to raise water rates and the effect that has on the public, and more about just better communication with the public, giving folks information they need to understand the issues, letting them ask questions, and providing more transparency, so that leaders can make informed decisions about those individual problems that citizens of Hot Springs may be concerned about. So that's why I'm so excited about this advisory board. I think it's a great step in the right direction. It's progress and clearly this well. And I'm excited about that because I believe what it's going to do is give the people of Hot Springs a voice in the sense that this committee will be able to provide the board with input and recommendations to help you make the decisions. I realize the board doesn't carry authority, but it does carry the opportunity to provide you with more information and potentially that coming from the citizens. And so, I'm a lifelong student. I'm willing to learn and represent the people of Hot Springs on this committee and thank you for the opportunity to do it. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Page? Director Mayor, thank you. Mr. Page, I just appreciate your interest in this committee. Was there anything you'd like to add to policy, kind of highlight your strengths in that area?
Yeah.
You did a great job, hitting on the church and the college, any other
And that would be something when I was understanding the importance of what this committee would be responsible for mainly, and when I heard that policies and recommendations and input on water rates and other subjects was important, I thought, wow, that's something that's right in my wheelhouse for policies, because when we endeavored to become accredited, we over the period of 6 months had to write 300 pages of policy. It was an insane amount of work to provide to the state of Arkansas and to national accrediting agencies this manual of policies that ultimately succeeded in getting us accredited. So I'm thrilled to have that opportunity if it's available to me to be a part of that. And yes, policies and writing policies and being just input in that, I think is a strength of mine. So thanks for letting me highlight that.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Randy Pollock. Your interest and capability.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Board of Directors. I'm Randy Foley. I live at 311 Whispering Hills, Hot Springs, Arkansas. I'm honored to be considered for the Waterworks Committee. My interest in the committee is to see to fruition a project that I was interested in when I became a board member, and that is to make sure we have enough water to take care of not only the city, but the community that we live in. And so that's my interest here. I'd like a point of clarification. Is this advisory committee to the management or to the board? Everybody's going like this, so which is this?
The advisory committee would provide advice and recommendations to the board through the city manager.
Thank you. I think it's done a phenomenal job. I was in a meeting about 14 years ago where somebody identified the shortage of water in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I did not believe it. I mean, I have water every day, and it's difficult to convince people we have a shortage of water. I'm a firm believer now that we do have a water shortage problem, we have a treatment plant problem, and we need to see this to fruition not only for the benefit of our community, but for the benefit of all customers that we serve, both within the city limits and outside the state.
Mr. Stephen.
I was raised in Hot Springs. Moved away for about 40 years. Traveled the country, was in the car with us for 37 years. Had opportunity to retire, and I came right back home. Graduated from Lake Hamilton, retired in Memphis. And we're doing for all of them. We had hundreds of people every day. Policies, various some of the big schools. After 37 years, I said, this time to go home. I'm not an expert on water. It's something that I know is essential to live for everybody. I get it, and I will work, and I will lead. And any advice I can give, I'll give.
about your responsibilities as being POA at Oakmont Village?
Yes, I do, I am on there, and that's been a lot of progress made in the last year and a half. When I came, they moved me, the radio for 42 years. So we had this one proposed hikes on the POA fees and assessments. But in a year and a half, the property value was doubled. And the property is in excellent condition. And, I mean, every day it's something. Somebody has a problem. But we get it fixed before we get it it's getting a lot better.
Any further questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan Martin?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Martin. I currently live at 200 Baton Rouge here in Hot Springs, and my office is right down the road at 14 Miles in the Richfield in Hot Springs. I've been here for 17 years. I have practiced law in Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Arkansas, and then finally back to Hot Springs, where for the last 17 years I worked primarily in the areas of real estate development. Hot Springs, our water is our number one resource, both as a commodity, as recreation. We're known for it nationwide. And I'm seeing the effects nationwide of shortages. Just today in the newspaper, there was an article about Salt Lake City. Salt Lake is officially dry. You can see the bottom of it. That's something we're going to have to manage with common sense, thoughtful foresight to make sure that we're planning not just for tomorrow, but for 30 years. I have a friend who lives in Salt Lake City. And forecast what kind of needs we're going to have. I haven't seen situations and worked with developers where that foresight works there, and that thoughtfulness works there. I've seen projects that did not go well because of that lack of foresight. And like the gentleman said before, I'm not an expert in water, but I do have a lot of experience in helping people think of problems and things that could arise and giving measured, thoughtful solutions to those problems, hopefully before they arise. So I appreciate your consideration. I'd love to work with the board and the manager and all the city offices there. I've got a lot of experience working with regulatory agencies and the city offices as well, so I feel like it'd be a good collaboration.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I think you've been in front of us before this year, haven't you?
I have, yeah. Back in January.
Okay. Well, thank you for applying.
Absolutely.
I appreciate your consideration for the board. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Dave Reagan? He comes in a little later than seen him. Bring him up. Mr. Carol Weatherford. Thank you.
Carol Weatherford, 103 Ironwood, a resident of District 4 for 24 years and a lifetime resident of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Served on a couple boards and as alderman. Understand the importance of water rates and the continuation of our water system that we've done a lot of work on in the last 6 the contractor, have been a contractor for 40 years now, along with my 2 daughters in the business. We have 44 doors going right now, we're anticipating of 20 more this year. That's really important for the water because we're using a lot of it in what we're doing. Construction in the city of Hot Springs is a lot better than a lot of people think. If you look at the building permits taken out, just in the city, there's a lot going on in the county. 42 of mine are in the city, 2 of them are in the county. So it's really important for this committee and whatever we required to do. Thank you.
I just said thank you for applying to Mr. Rutherford.
And complete those who applied, that would be on the, for the city slots. We do have, 4 applicants for the 2 county slots. And we have Mr. Mark Allen.
Mayor, City Manager, Director, pleasure to be here this evening. My name is Mark Allen. I live at 321 Forest Landing Road in the county. And we first started saying that start by saying humble to be in touch with so many others that are very qualified to be here, and I know in person and my friends. I'm retired started out with CIP, protection section, others, and then into aviation, basically the process of the toothpaste, and then I then had the pleasure of working with the city and working for the city as the court administrator of the district court. I understand the role of the board members and how it's important to work with the directors. My goal is to help maintain a affordable yet sustainable water system. Again, I was raised here all my life before I became Thank you. Did we reach out to all the applicants? Because it's my understanding, or at least word got to me, that Rick Davis never got a notification to get here this afternoon. Would that be accurate? Or?
No, all the candidates, all the applicants were notified via email address provided on application. The time and date was also posted on the website. So, everyone was notified.
Okay, so the invitation for giving out email. This is a resolution that was passed March 13th, 2023, for the board by the manager's decision is recommending that Rick Davis serve on the Waterworks Advisory Committee.
Out of 112 Carnation Place. I've been there about almost 3 years now. I grew up in Hot Springs, started on the lakeside, and then after law school, I went into the Air Force where I spent 28 years. I retired. Both my parents and my in-laws were here. So right now, I'm not in active practice. Again, I basically ran legal offices for half an hour. I was in collegiate prosecutor, defense counsel, basically running the end of my military job. So right now I'm still doing a lot of volunteer work. Country club, a local nonprofit for children. We just drive through the
signed up for this board, I believe, don't have a lot of utility experience as being a leader, a legal leader at a military base. We receive our utilities generally from the city, the local city. I'm very minimal experience with that specific issue, but a lot of experience dealing with boards.
Matt Scott Smith, I live at 258 Forest Landing in Hot Springs. Just a little bit about myself. I'm born and raised here in Hot Springs. I've been in the real estate brokerage here since 1981. My primary reason for being here today is to donate my time and expertise in any way I can to help the city. I've served a couple of times on the board of zoning administration with the EAA. And I just want to volunteer and give back to the community that I've worked in. Real estate and it's important to me to see the kind of people great opportunity for us to work together. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. All those applicants for the water works site. Go back with A, airport, advisory committee. Mike Abrams, Mike. Aaron Clark. Aaron.
Good afternoon, directors and mayor. My name is Aaron Clark, 223rd Street, right across the way here. Looking for, just another continuance on the airport advisory committee. I think this is my third cycle. On here, service with the airport advisory committee. My history has been here for about 11 years in Hot Springs, transplanted from the far west regions of California, and I am a very active pilot and part of the community of aviation very deeply. So, I would just like to give back to my community and be part of that. Yes, sir. I've been on, I think this is my third term. Served on the committee with Mr. Peters as well. He was on that committee.
Thank you. Given the number of applicants feel free to go home. Feel free to stay. It's gonna be a long meeting, so enjoy the sunshine, get your vitamin D. May complete the two who applied for the airport advisory committee, now we're on the animal control advisory committee. Hendrick. Forward and take your name address.
Good evening. Spring Avenue, Fifty, and here in Spring, and I've lived with the veterans almost 30 years now. I currently on the Animal Control Committee, but my tenure is up in the 1st of May. I think I took summer's vacancy. I understand it's a bit of, I'm here at the house to ask if you would continue to let me be on the team. When I moved here, animal control had a bad reputation from everything I heard from everybody in the community. And that broke my heart because we had some animals in our neighborhood that needed some help and needed to be reprimanded and taken care of. And, long story short, I had two very good experiences and one not so very good experience. I tried to contact animal control and met with some of the same attitude that I had heard from other people. I thought, well, if I got on the committee, maybe I could find out what was going on. My grandfather used to say there was plenty of wet in the oil pile and the wood pile. So I thought, well, let me see what's going on. I see like there's anything I can do to make it better. I can't begin to tell you what I have begun to hear and see that the changes that have been made in the last few months. I've acted on social media, I've posted the post for changes, I've met with great response from the community. They're excited about what's going on, what can happen. Lieutenant Salmon has done a fantastic job. I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen in the future. I'd like to be a part of that, see how it can develop and grow. I feel like animal control officers and the whole department needs nothing but respect for all that they do. And I'd like to see that grow and continue and be a part of it as well possible. Thank you for hearing me out. I'm sorry? Good to see you. Good to see you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry to be late. You're fine. You want to come up and we have gone over the Waterworks Advisory Committee applicants to some scheduling. To double back and we missed the early part of it. You're an applicant.
Yeah, my name's Dave Reagan. I live in District 1, and my interest in the Waterworks Advisory Committee is the fact that we still have a lot of people in District 1, and I'm very interested in expanding it up there. Do you have any questions?
And again, if we have other applicants that come in while we're moving through the list, we'll focus on clause.
Your future.
District Commission.
Get on with that. Darling, you won't have to apply. They will create a new spot for a former vice president. Easy.
Yes, sir, Mayor, he was here earlier and had to leave. Both positions, don't actually qualify for those positions. Both have been serving on it and are willing to be reappointed if they're on.
Rick Wire, I live at 517 Skyline Drive in Hot Springs. I'm putting in a seat appointment for my 5th term on this committee.